Hello everyone. Welcome to Sam's Summaries. This episode is a deep dive discussion into Sam Fury's summary of the book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. It has been created with the help of AI. You can read the original summary at samfury.com.
Okay, so are you ready?
Ready for what?
Today's deep dive, we're tackling the KonMari method.
Oh yeah, Marie Kondo and the whole tidying up craze. I'm in.
Right. I mean, it's everywhere. So we thought, let's go beyond just decluttering tips. Let's really see how it can change the way you think, boost your well-being.
Well, it's definitely more than just organizing tips, right?
Absolutely.
It's like Kondo really gets into how we connect with our stuff on an emotional level, challenges that whole just put it in a box mentality we all have.
So true. Like she wants us to actually face our stuff and think about why we're holding on to it instead of just shoving it in a drawer somewhere.
Exactly.
It's like a personal inventory, but for your emotions almost.
Yeah. And that leads to her idea of a tidying marathon, which I think is so interesting.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
It's like instead of tidying up every day, just little by little, she says, do it all at once.
Whoa.
One big decluttering session to reset everything.
Intense. I've heard it's effective, but intense.
It is. But think about it. When you tidy a little bit at a time, you're constantly making decisions about what to keep, what to toss. It can be really tiring,
Right. Decision fatigue.
Yeah. But this marathon approach, it's like a clean break from those old habits.
So it's not just about tidying up to make things look nice.
Right. It's about changing your mindset, like a catalyst for actually growing.
It's like ripping off a Band-Aid, but with clutter.
Yeah, exactly.
But hold on. Kondo doesn't just want us to toss everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has that whole thing about what to keep.
Oh, you mean the spark joy criteria?
Yeah, spark joy. It's so well known, but honestly, sometimes it sounds a little too simple.
I know what you mean.
But then I tried it while cleaning out my closet, and it was crazy how easy it was to decide what to keep.
Yeah.
Just based on how it made me feel.
Right. It's like a yes or no based purely on feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
It really is powerful, though. It's shifting from that feeling of, I should keep this, to, I want to keep this because it brings me joy.
It's choosing, not feeling obligated.
And, there's more and more research that shows that being around things we love is good for us, right?
Oh, yeah, for your mood, your energy, even how productive you are.
Exactly.
So it's not just about how things look. It's like making your space work for you on an emotional level.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of mindfulness.
Totally. You're being present, paying attention to how you feel.
Exactly.
The KonMari method is like mindfulness in action almost, engaging with each thing, thinking about what it means to you. It's a way to understand yourself better.
So it's tidying up, but also like decluttering your mind.
Exactly.
I like that. But let's get practical.
Okay.
How does Kondo actually say we should do this whole tidying marathon?
Well, one of the key things is you tidy by category, not by room.
Okay, so not like today I'm cleaning the bedroom.
Right. It's more like today I'm doing all my clothes, then all your books, and so on.
Huh. Why that way?
Well, there's an order to it, and it makes sense when you think about it. She says to start with clothes because they're the easiest to make decisions about.
Interesting.
Then you do books, papers, then all the miscellaneous stuff, she calls that kimono. And finally, the sentimental items.
So it's like starting easy and working up to the hard stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You build up those decision-making muscles before you get to the really tough emotional items.
Smart. Okay, so let's break it down. What about clothes? What does Kondo say about tidying clothes?
Well, the big thing is that you touch each item and ask yourself, does this spark joy?
Right.
And if it doesn't, you thank it for its service and let it go.
It's kind of sweet, actually, thanking your clothes.
It is, like recognizing that things have a life cycle. And she even has this specific way of folding clothes to save space.
Oh, yeah, I've seen pictures. It's like origami for your T-shirts. Everything's standing upright in the drawer.
It is. And it's more than just looking nice. It's also super efficient. You can see everything at a glance. Nothing gets lost in the back of the drawer.
So practical, too.
But it's also about respect, Like, by folding them carefully, you're showing that you value your belongings.
Even a simple T-shirt.
Right. It's about being intentional with every step. Makes it more than just a chore.
Yeah, it's mindful tidying. Okay, so clothes are done. What's next on the KonMari to-do list?
Well, next up we've got books.
Oh, books. This is where I think a lot of people might struggle.
I know, right? Especially if you're a bookworm.
It's like they're more than just things, you know?
They are. They hold so much, like, memories, knowledge.
Sometimes it even feels like your identity is tied up in your books.
Yeah, totally. And Kondo gets that. She doesn't dismiss that. But she does ask us to think about which books are really serving us now.
So, like, have you actually read it?
Yeah. And will you read it again? Does it mean something to you right now?
Because if not, maybe it's time to let it go.
Exactly. Give it a chance to be loved by someone else.
I think the hardest part is those books you haven't even read yet.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's that guilt, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you should read it someday.
I know, they just sit there on the shelf judging you.
Oh.
But really, holding on to them out of guilt, it just creates clutter. Mental clutter, too.
Oh, for sure.
Kondo saying, let go of the guilt.
Make space for the books that you're actually going to enjoy right now.
Exactly. And you never know, letting go might make room for some new amazing books you haven't even discovered yet.
Ooh, that's a good point. It's like you're not losing something, you're opening up to something else.
Exactly.
Okay, so after the book mountain, we've got,
Papers.
oh, papers.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is everyone's least favorite category.
You'd be surprised. A lot of people actually feel relieved when they finally tackle their papers. It's like a weight lifted.
I can imagine. So what's Kondo's wisdom for papers?
Her approach is pretty straightforward. If it's not something you need for legal or financial stuff, toss it.
Wow, okay.
So we're talking old bills, receipts, manuals, anything you can find online or just don't need anymore.
It's amazing how much paper we keep. It's like it breathes in the dark.
It does.
But what about sentimental stuff, like old letters, kids' drawings?
Those are actually in the sentimental items category, which we'll get to later.
Okay, so we're saving the emotional stuff for last.
Exactly. For now, it's just about getting rid of those practical papers that are clogging up your life.
Makes sense. Okay, so clothes, books, papers. What's next on our KonMari journey?
We're entering the mysterious land of kimono.
kimono.
Yeah, it's Kondo's word for basically all the miscellaneous stuff.
So everything else.
Pretty much. Kitchen gadgets, bathroom stuff, electronics, crafts, you name it. Even those random knickknacks we all have.
Kimono.
It
It just sounds like clutter.
can feel like that. This is usually the hardest category because it's so broad.
I can see why. Like, how do you even know where to start?
Well, Kondo says to break it down into smaller chunks,
Okay.
like kitchen kimono, bathroom kimono, and so on.
So you're not overwhelmed by the giant pile of stuff.
Right. And then you just go through each item, like before, and ask, does this spark joy?
Even for a spatula. Or like a toothbrush.
Yeah, it can be tricky. She gets that not everything is going to make us jump for joy, but she wants us to be mindful even about the practical stuff.
So like appreciating that the spatula helps you flip pancakes, even if it doesn't make you feel all warm and fuzzy.
Exactly. Or maybe you get cleaning supplies that smell nice, or you organize your tools in a visually pleasing way.
It's like finding those little bits of joy in the everyday thing.
Exactly. It's about creating a sense of order, even in the practical areas of our lives.
Oh, I like that. And you know, speaking of practical, didn't Kondo have some very specific advice for some everyday things?
Oh, she did.
Oh, what?
Well, remember that whole thing about treating your socks with respect?
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
She's totally against balling them up or tying them together.
Sock abuse.
Right. She says fold them nicely and store them upright in your drawer.
I have to admit, I tried it, and it's oddly satisfying.
It is. It's like you're giving your socks a little spa day. But really, it's about that bigger idea of being mindful, respecting your belongings, even the little things.
Even your socks have a purpose, right?
Exactly. And they deserve to be treated well.
Okay, I'm sold. What other KonMari gems do you have up your sleeve?
Okay, this one is about handbags.
Oh, handbags.
Kondo says to empty your bag every day and have a designated spot for all your essentials.
Oh, I'm so bad at that. My handbag is a black hole.
I hear you. But she says carrying all that extra stuff around weighs you down.
Literally and figuratively, probably.
Right. It's
Yeah.
like you're carrying the day's stress around with you.
Okay, fine. I'll empty my bag tonight. Any more wisdom to share?
One last thing. This one really speaks to me. She suggests turning the top shelf of your bookcase into like a personal shrine.
A shrine in my bookcase.
Yeah, a place to display things that are special to you. Crystals, photos, a plant, whatever brings you joy.
I love that. It's
Wow.
like creating a little space just for yourself with things that lift you up.
Right. And it also goes back to that idea of visual clutter.
Yeah, that it's not just the amount of stuff, but how it's presented.
Exactly. It's about being mindful of your surroundings and how they affect you.
I like that. Even if you don't go full KonMari, that idea of decluttering visually, it can make a huge difference. Like imagine clearing off your desk, only keeping what you need, and a few things that spark joy.
Oh, yeah. I bet that would help you focus.
For sure. It's like setting yourself up for success just by how you arrange your space.
Exactly. It's about being intentional with your environment.
Okay, so we've done clothes, books, papers, kimono. We're ready for the final boss.
Sentimental items.
This is where it gets real.
I know, right?
These are the things that are connected to memories, nostalgia. How do you even begin to let go of that?
It's tough, that's for sure.
And it's why Kondo saves this category for last. By then, you've had practice making decisions, getting comfortable with letting go.
Exactly.
But even then, it's still about asking, does this spark joy?
Always. But with sentimental items, sometimes the answer isn't so clear-cut.
Right. Because what if everything has a memory attached to it? How do you decide what to keep when it all feels so important?
Well, it's like this, it's not about just clinging to the past, you know? It's
Yeah.
more about like cherishing those memories, but also allowing yourself to, you know, move forward.
Yeah.
And Kondo says you should hold each sentimental item and just really think about how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
Does it bring up good feelings like warmth and gratitude?
Right.
Or does it make you feel kind of sad or burdened or even regretful?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, sometimes holding on to something can actually stop us from, really living in the present.
Wow, that's deep. So what do we actually do with all this sentimental clutter? It feels so easy to just keep it all.
Well, Kondo has some ideas. One is to make a memory box just for those really special things that spark joy and that really capture important moments.
Oh, like a curated collection.
Exactly. That way you can keep those precious things, but they're not taking over your whole house.
Right. They have their own special spot.
Another tip is to take pictures of things before you let them go.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, it helps preserve the memory without actually needing to keep the physical object.
So it's like a digital memory box.
Right.
I like that. Seems like Kondo's saying it's about finding that balance between appreciating the past and making space for what's next.
Yeah, exactly. And she reminds us that the important thing isn't always the object itself.
Right.
It's the memories and feelings that go with it. And those stay with you no matter what.
Those are with you forever. Okay, so we've decluttered clothes, books, papers, even kimono and all the sentimental things. What's next? Do we run out and buy all new storage containers?
Actually, no. Kondo is all about keeping things simple. She says use what you already have if you can.
Okay.
Like shoe boxes, jars, even those cute little boxes that gifts come in. You can use all those for storage.
So it's resourceful and sustainable.
Totally. But when we are organizing the things we've decided to keep, are there some guidelines to keep in mind?
Yeah. How do we make sure it stays tidy?
Well, she's big on visibility and being able to get to things easily. So she suggests using clear containers so you can see what's inside.
Okay.
And avoid those complicated storage systems that make it hard to actually find anything.
So no hidden compartments.
Right. Remember, it's all about creating a space that feels peaceful. Not like some museum where everything's tucked away.
I see. I've seen pictures of those pantries that are like perfectly organized, everything labeled and in its little spot.
Oh, yeah.
But that seems like a lot of work to keep up, you know?
Yeah.
Is the KonMari method really something you can do long term?
That's a good point. And Kondo talks about that. She's not saying you have to have some perfect magazine-ready home,
Right.
It's about finding a system that works for you. And once you've done that initial tidying marathon and you have a place for everything, it gets much easier to stay organized.
So you've laid the groundwork.
Right.
It's like a foundation for living more intentionally. It's not just about cleaning. It's about shifting your mindset.
Exactly. And it shows that the KonMari method really is about more than just tidying up.
It's a whole philosophy.
Right. It's a way to connect with your values, create a home and a life that truly spark joy.
That's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
really inspiring. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the KonMari method. What are your final thoughts for our listeners out there? Something for them to think about.
You know what really sticks with me? It's the idea that tidying up can actually be this transformative experience.
Yeah.
It's not just getting rid of stuff, but creating space for what truly matters. Experiences, relationships, passions, the stuff that makes life meaningful.
It's the stuff that sparks joy.
Exactly. So I hope our listeners will think about that. Think about what sparks joy for them and how they can create a life that reflects that.
That's a great takeaway. And as we wrap up, I want to encourage you, our listener, to take a look around your own space. What do you see that sparks joy? And what could you maybe let go of to create more room for those things that really matter? Remember, the KonMari method is more than just cleaning. It's creating a life that's full of joy. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the life-changing magic of tidying up.
Thanks for tuning in to Sam's Summaries. If you found this episode useful, let us know with a like, follow, and share. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to visit samfury.com to get free access to all of Sam's original summaries, which you can download as PDFs, as well as other exclusive content. It's all completely free at samfury.com.